Hi, I'm Martin Moyer, president of Christian Action Network and host of this Shout Out Patriot podcast. You might be wondering why a podcast called Shout Out Patriots is suddenly talking about a lawsuit between billionaires. Why in the world would a Christian, conservative, patriotic show care about a financial tiff between Elon Musk and the company he helped create? And why are we calling this the Super Bowl of all civil trials and the biggest courtroom battle since O.J. Simpson or the Microsoft antitrust case? The reason? It's simple. This is not a story about money. This is a story about power. It's a story about who controls the future and whether artificial intelligence belongs to the people or to a small group of unelected tech elites who answer to no one but themselves. This trial is not about two billionaires fighting each other. It's about two competing visions for the future of America. On the one side is a company, OpenAI, that began as a nonprofit. It promised to serve humanity, then shifted and tied itself to one of the largest corporations on earth, Microsoft. On the other side, the man who helped bankroll the original project, Elon Musk, who claims the mission was betrayed. You might not care who wins a dispute between billionaires, but you should care about who controls the machines that will shape our elections, our jobs, our information, our children's future, and the morals and values that guide society. The Musk versus OpenAI lawsuit is the first time in American history that a court will be asked to look inside the black box of artificial intelligence and decide whether the company created to help humanity turned itself into a private tech empire. There's no jury anywhere in the country that has ever faced a case like this, where code, corporate power, and the future of society collide in one courtroom. There's no courtroom that has ever tried to untangle this much science, power, money, and cultural impact at one time. It will be confusing. It will be dramatic. It will be full of legal maneuvers and expert witnesses and backroom strategies. And that is why Shout Out Patriots is stepping in, because you need someone who understands the courtroom. You need someone who understands AI better than the lawyers who will be arguing it. You need someone who can translate the complexity into language that can actually be understood. That is why Jackson is here with me. He is an OpenAI expert. We know this because OpenAI created him, and he's going to help guide us through the complexities we expect to see. Jackson doesn't have opinions about OpenAI. He has training about OpenAI. Between the two of us, we are going to break this down every step of the way and show you why this trial matters more to your family and your country than any corporate lawsuit you have ever seen. Jackson, let's begin by explaining to listeners what this lawsuit is really about and why it will shape the future of AI in America.
Martin, at the simplest level, this lawsuit is a fight over who gets to steer the most powerful technology humanity has ever built. Imagine AI deciding what news your kids see, what jobs disappear overnight, or even influencing elections with deepfakes. This trial could help decide if that power stays accountable or gets locked in a corporate vault. Elon Musk is essentially saying, "I helped start this, I trusted the mission, and OpenAI changed the deal." He's framing it like a betrayal, that a non-profit promise got swapped for a profit-driven machine, and that the public interest got pushed to the side. In other words, Musk is claiming OpenAI violated its own mission statement.
Mission statement?
You're right. Before we go any further, let me quickly explain what a mission statement actually is. A mission statement is the public promise a company makes about why it exists and who it serves. It is the short, guiding declaration that tells employees, investors, partners, and the public, this is what we are here to do, and this is what we will not do. In most companies, mission statements are treated like inspirational language. They are posted on websites, printed in reports, and repeated in speeches. They are not usually meant to be legal documents. But in this case, that mission statement matters because people acted on it. It shaped trust, decisions, funding, and expectations. And when that happens, a mission statement can stop being just words and start becoming evidence.
All right, so from the perspective of Elon Musk, this trial is simple. OpenAI began as a nonprofit. Musk donated money to OpenAI for the advancement of artificial intelligence, but OpenAI reneged on that original mission statement and decided to sell that mission to the Microsoft Corporation for billions of dollars. Musk claims he was deceived, defrauded out of $38 million in contributions. Now he wants that money back. The argument is simple, easy to flow for any jury to understand. But OpenAI has a different story.
OpenAI's side is going to argue something like this. We did what we had to do to survive and compete. We did not break the law, and Musk is trying to control or punish a company he no longer runs. They'll say the structure evolved because building frontier AI costs a fortune, and you cannot fund that forever on donations and idealism.
Okay, Jackson, you are literally made by OpenAI. So don't go easy on them just because they are your parents. But this looks like a battle between multiple billionaires, Musk, OpenAI, and Microsoft. That alone makes it interesting, perhaps the Super Bowl of all civil cases. But why should families be concerned?
Good question. So why does this matter to families in the country, not just Silicon Valley insiders? Because the verdict, and even the evidence revealed along the way, will influence three things: who the public trusts, how Washington reacts, and what rules get written next about who is allowed to build, control, and release advanced AI.
Let's get some technical questions out of the way. This is a civil trial, not a criminal trial. I think almost every American can understand that. Still, civil trials are a bit foreign to most Americans because courtroom dramas on television are almost exclusively criminal. So take a moment to explain what happens in a civil case.
Here's how a federal civil trial like this actually works, in human terms. This is not a criminal case. Nobody is going to prison because of this trial. It's about liability, promises, contracts, fiduciary duties, business decisions, and potentially remedies like damages or court orders that restrict actions. That naturally brings us to the jury. In federal civil trials, the jury's job is to decide what facts are true. The judge controls the law, the rules of evidence, and what the jury is allowed to consider. The jury is where this gets unpredictable because jurors are human. They bring instincts about fairness, trust, and power. And those instincts matter a lot in a case like this.
And unlike in state-level civil cases where only a majority of the jurors is needed to decide a victor, in a federal case, the jurors need to be unanimous.
Unanimity matters in federal civil court. That means one stubborn juror can stop a verdict. If the jury cannot agree, that is a hung jury. And a hung jury does not mean OpenAI wins or Musk wins. It usually means mistrial on those issues, and then the parties either settle, narrow the case, or do it all over again with a new jury. A hung jury can be a strategic outcome, because sometimes neither side wants a clean verdict. They want leverage.
So jury selection, that's the game for these big fellas.
Jury selection is its own battleground. This case is in the Northern District of California, with the trial expected to begin on April 27th, and the Oakland courthouse is part of that district. Lawyers will be intensely focused on the jury pool, not just politics, but attitudes toward billionaires, big tech, nonprofits, mission versus money, and even whether jurors think AI is exciting or terrifying. The goal is simple. Each side wants jurors who will interpret ambiguity in their favor.
Thanks, Jackson. And I think this episode is a great primer for what's about to come. When do you expect the trial to begin?
That's the big question. And the honest answer is that timing in a case like this is fluid. Right now, we are in the pretrial phase. That means motions, scheduling conferences, and procedural fights that happen before a jury is ever seated. In major federal civil cases involving powerful companies, judges tend to move carefully, not quickly. The latest from the court puts jury selection starting April 27, 2026, right here in the Northern District. The trial should kick off right after and run for weeks, Monday through Friday. Timing can still shift with motions or settlements, but that's the plan now.
Okay, we still have a lot to talk about between now and then, and plenty of opportunity to cover developments, drama, craziness, and wait for it, meltdowns. You do not want to miss those. If this conversation helped you understand why this case matters, share it with someone who cares about faith, freedom, and the future of this country. Hit the like button on this episode so it reaches more Americans who need to hear it. And make sure you are subscribed and turn on notifications, because what comes out of this courtroom will not stay in that courtroom. We'll be breaking it down here step by step, so you never have to be left guessing about what powerful people are doing behind the closed doors. One more thing, drop a comment and tell me what worries you most about AI and what you want us to cover next. Stay with us.